Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Pear Tree Observatory's control room. Tonight, in the evening, we're going to be hoping to observe Asteroid 7482, 1994 PC1. As I'm sure most of you are aware, this asteroid made a very close pass, comparatively, to the Earth. Passed only 1.2 million miles away. That's 5.2 lunar distances. That's a little bit farther away than you're led to believe by most of the YouTube and internet articles on the web today. The asteroid was discovered in 1994, as the name implies, in the Siding Spring Observatory in Australia. So let's just go ahead and go to the scope. This is the live view here of the telescope. And that is 7482. Now, it is moving slowly in the field of view. The telescope is actually not driving at a sidereal rate right now. It is driving at a custom rate to match the asteroid, as I'm not technically tracking the asteroid. But if you watch the stars, you will see that they are slowly drifting down to the right, bottom right. I'm hoping somebody's out there watching. If you've got any questions, let me know. As a matter of introduction, my name is Tom Haw. I'm a NASA Solar System Ambassador. I'm a member of the American Astronomical Society, the Northwest Florida Astronomy Association, the International Occultation Timing Association, and the American Association of Variable Star Observers. So this is my observatory. This is Pear Tree Observatory in Valparaiso, Florida. It is recognized by the International Astronomical Union as Hotel 23. I host an all-sky meteor camera for the Sky Sentinel network. I host a solar ionospheric disturbance detector for Stanford Solar Center. But the majority of the work I do is astrometry for the Minor Planet Center. I measure asteroids and comets' positions, and so far I have submitted over 8,000 of those measurements to the Minor Planet Center. So we will go on back to the camera here. And again, as you can tell, those stars are slowly drifting by as we follow the asteroid across the sky. Now, at 1 million miles, even if the JWST, our recently launched James Webb Space Telescope, even if it was on duty station, it still would not be threatened by this asteroid as it passed by. And I see Melanie Sellers has joined us. Thank you very much. The closest pass today was at 1551, so just a couple of hours ago it was as close to the Earth as it was going to get. But as you can tell, it is now leaving the vicinity and is heading back out into deep space. The asteroid orbits the Sun in 572 days, so it'll be about a year and a half or so before it comes back around. But again, we won't be in the same position, so the next orbits won't be anywhere near as close as they are now. A quick glance at the sky here shows we're still clear, although we have a little bit of haze coming in up at the north side of the field of view there. I was observing last night, and the full moon washed the sky out quite a bit, to the point where only the very brightest stars were observable. So it was, plus it wasn't moving as fast as it is right now, so we have a better view right now, up until the point where the moon does rise tonight, and it will again wash the sky out somewhat. Melanie asks if the full moon tonight too. Full moon is an instantaneous event. It occurred last night, so we're going to be a little past full moon tonight. Let's see here. The moon rises at what time tonight here? Moon's going to rise at 17:53, so it is already started up, but it shouldn't bother us until it gets up much higher than it is right now. We can go to a view here. Matches the sky versus what we're looking at right now. So you can see star patterns of the stars that we can see do match up with what we're supposed to be seeing in the sky, according to the charts here. Right now the asteroid is in the constellation Pisces. We'll take a look at the orbit of the asteroid. You can see the asteroid cuts inside Earth's orbit, and as it climbs above the ecliptic, and then it will dip below the ecliptic well outside the orbit of Mars. So that's its orbit as viewed from above. We then come down here, and you can see that it is past us, and will climb above the ecliptic, and then later in its orbit it will then dive down below the ecliptic. So Mr. Kerry King has joined us. Thank you for the comment there, Kerry. If you have any questions, go ahead and let me know. I'll be glad to try to answer them. And this is not a great action show here. The asteroid is slowly crawling across the sky. So I'll be glad to answer any questions. The asteroid is about 1.1 kilometers in diameter, so this is a good-sized asteroid. Again, the fact that it was discovered in 1994 gives you an idea that it is a fairly large asteroid. The bigger they are, the easier they are to find. As the bigger they are, the more light they reflect. Asteroids are only lit by the sun, and so the reflection of the light from the sun and how much light the asteroid actually reflects gets bigger as the asteroid gets bigger, and so we'll. Melanie's asked, do we have a photo of what it looks like up close? Nobody has a photo of what it looks like up close. We've never had a spacecraft go out and rendezvous or fly by the asteroid. Pretty much all we have is a point of light. Of course, the bigger telescopes have a bigger point of light than I do. but I don't think it has ever gotten close enough for the Arecibo and Goldstone set to image it with radar. And of course, Arecibo is now no longer with us. Hopefully we'll be able to regain that ability to use big dishes for radar so we can examine asteroids, if nothing else, with just radar. Thank you for the question, Melanie. Good one. Asteroid is moving noticeably quicker than it was last night on its inbound. But again, not very quickly. Again, it's over 1 million miles away, so even at the speed it is traveling, it's not going to be that quick. If you want to watch an asteroid quickly pass us, you need to wait till 2029 when the asteroid Apophis passes us just outside the distance of our geosynchronous satellites. That will be quick. Hopefully I'll be able to do that flyby as well. But right now the distance at 1.2 and 1 million miles and opening doesn't translate to a quick pass across the sky. But this is one of the very few objects you'll be able to actually watch move real time. The asteroids I normally observe and record, I can take a series of pictures over, say, an hour, and in the individual images, motion can be detected, but you can't sit there and watch a real-time view of them moving. This asteroid is classified as an Apollo asteroid. That classification of asteroids, in order to meet that classification, the orbit of the asteroid, when it's farthest away from the Earth, or from the Sun, needs to be outside Earth's orbit, and at its closest point in its orbit around the Sun is inside Earth's orbit. So it is classified as an Apollo asteroid. It does cross Earth's orbit, and so at some time it may be a hazard, which is why a lot of people are paying attention to it right now. But NASA has calculated that it does not pose a hazard to the Earth for quite a few years in advance. I think this is probably the quickest target that I've ever observed, recorded, imaged. It is neat to watch it actually move across the sky and watch the stars around it drop behind it as it makes its way by. So if you're outside, this is where the asteroid is in the sky past the meridian. It is actually moving from the south to the northeast as it's crawling up there. Just let you know where it is in the sky. We'll go back to our target here. Just since this is one of my first live streams, is the sound out there sound okay? Is the pictures coming across fairly smoothly? Just a question to the audience there. Well, he asks or says that there's a photo on the web. My guess is of course, I don't know of any actual photos. It's probably just an artist's illustration. Again, as I know of no mission that's gone out or to that asteroid or has flown by that asteroid on its way someplace else. Thanks, Dennis, for the sound and video check. Appreciate that. And Dave, glad both of you guys are here. And we can go and match the sky again, see where we are. And you can see the little yellow indicator there on the chart on the right is the location of the telescope, so you can actually see the telescope moving as fairly quickly in order to keep the asteroid in the center, which is of course why the stars are scrolling along. Now, the software package I'm using will not sort of lock onto that center spot, so as the sky moves, I have to then move the chart to match the sky. It looks like we've got some clouds moving in. I haven't noticed any difference in the image of the camera, but it is something I'm paying attention to and watching. Those almost look like some contrails that have spread out across the sky. Then it's asked what constellation it is in. It is still in Pisces. I don't know if it'll cross a constellation boundary tonight or not, but that's where we are. Watch it go right by that star there. That star itself is magnitude 9.13. It's one of the stars cataloged in the Hubble Guide Star catalog, but that star is not naked eye visible. But that gives you an idea of just how bright the asteroid is. The star being 9.1. Asteroid is definitely dimmer than that. Just asking the audience, is anybody out there viewing this on YouTube? I'd appreciate some feedback there. Just as a side note, the camera I'm using tonight is my occultation camera. One of the tasks that I do when possible is to measure asteroids as they cross in front of background stars. So it's a fairly low light level sensitivity video camera. The data you see on the bottom there is timing information. The F9 indicates the software load for the video time inserter. 9 says that there's 9 GPS satellites in view, and then of course that's GPS time per frame of the video, so that when an asteroid passes in front of a star and blocks the light out, we can tell very accurately what time that happens. And Dave says he was on YouTube. Looked fine. Thank you, sir. Looks like our contrails are moving off. Should not pose too much of a problem. However, they are starting to light up as the light from the moon starts to hit them. I don't know about you, but I went and looked on the internet. I got onto YouTube and searched for 1994 PC1, and the number of videos is astonishing. Not all of them are of the scientific bent. Even though it's 1.2 million miles away, there was an awful lot of doom and gloom and conspiracy slanted videos about the asteroid. Dennis asks, how long before I go into the tree line? As you can see, I have a fairly narrow view in the sky. But I think it'll probably be just going by the latitude lines there, just about 2 hours or so before we'll have to worry about the trees. But it is something we will have to worry about. This is a surprisingly sensitive video camera. You take a look at upper right-hand corner There's a hint of a star there. That's a magnitude 13 star. And this is a fairly sensitive camera. And even with the moon is up as high as it is right now, I'm always surprised how well this camera does, considering it's a video camera with little to no integration going on. Okay, Dave. Thanks. We'll see you hopefully at the meeting on Saturday. Thanks for stopping by. As you can see, the moon is really starting to light up the little bit of clouds that we have there. Not noticed any effect yet on the camera output here, but we will see how far we can go. Thanks for stopping by, Carrie. We will see you later. And it asks, what's the magnitude of the star it is next to? Whoa, something just flew by there. I hope somebody was paying attention. The slightly dimmer star just to the current right is an 11.28 there, Dennis. The star right there, if that's the one you were asking about. So that gives you an idea how bright the asteroid is. That's 11.2, and the asteroid is in the 10 magnitude range, somewhere around there. I guess that object that flew by was a satellite that was not real fast, like a meteor would be, but it's not uncommon for me to see those kinds of objects when I'm using the video camera. There's an awful lot of satellites up there. Well, I guess this is probably a little more interesting than watching paint dry. Not much, but a little. Yeah, we're still in a pretty clear area of the sky there. We shouldn't have too much of a problem with those clouds. It's like we're in a sparsely populated part of the sky there. There'd be a lot more stars visible if we were closer to the Milky Way, but we deal with what we have. Dennis asks, what's the counter on the far right? That is simply a incremental numbering each frame. I can reset it, and it just starts counting up from 0, and just to give an idea of how quickly and how each of the frames are numbered. Just a simple counter, Dennis. put on my NASA ambassador hat here. Due to the potential risk some of these asteroids have, NASA has put together quite a few missions specifically directed toward asteroid investigation and exploration. Currently, there are several missions going on right now. I'm sure most everybody remembers just recently on the 24th of November, the DART mission was launched. That will impact the binary asteroid on the 24th of November, September 22nd this year. Again, this is the first actual attempt to see if we can impact an object and affect its orbit. So the spacecraft is headed to the asteroid pair Didymos and Dimorphos. So that was launched on the 24th of November. The one other active, wrong direction. OSIRIS-REx was just recently rendezvoused with the asteroid Bennu, grabbed a sample, and is now headed back to Earth with the sample to return it on the 24th of September next year. So we'll be dropping that off. It'll actually drop off a capsule with the samples in it, and then the spacecraft itself will proceed on back out into space, and they're currently looking for targets. I mean, since the spacecraft is still totally functional, they'll look for some other asteroid targets to maybe rendezvous and do some more exploration on. And then the last active one right now is Lucy. Lucy was just launched in October, and its job is to fly out and investigate 7 Trojan asteroids. Those are asteroids that share Jupiter's orbit. They're trapped in the gravitational L4 and L5 locations ahead of behind Jupiter. So that's currently on its way. It will fly by its first asteroid, which will be a main belt asteroid on the 20th of April 2025. And then its first Trojan asteroid in August of 2027. This spacecraft will have, prior to that, the spacecraft will make 2 Earth gravitational assists flybys. Hopefully, we'll be in an orientation where I can capture some imagery of that spacecraft flying by. I've been able to do that for 2 other spacecraft. This will be a neat one to be able to see. Now, our future asteroid mission, this will be a mission to the asteroid Psyche. This is the asteroid mission that I'm most interested in. All the asteroids that we've gone to before were rocky, carbonaceous, based on spectroscopic studies and other studies. This asteroid Psyche, is mostly metal. Now, I'm sure over the billions of years it's been traveling out there, it may have started as just a straight metal asteroid, but I'm sure it's collected a lot of the solar system equivalent of love bugs on its surface, so we'll have to see how much of the metal that we can actually see once we make it out there. And it's supposed to arrive January 2026 to that asteroid. That's out in the main belt asteroid. And then the past asteroids was the Dawn spacecraft. This spacecraft went and actually flew and orbited the asteroid Vesta. It orbited that that asteroid for about a year or so, and then powered up its ion engines and left the orbit of Vesta and powered on around and rendezvoused in orbited the asteroid Ceres, or the dwarf planet Ceres. It is still there. It's run out of fuel, so it cannot orient the solar panels and keep the batteries charged. So that's now a dead spacecraft, but that is still in orbit around the dwarf planet Ceres. Deep Space One was a technology demonstration mission. It did go to Rendezvous an asteroid, asteroid Braille. It was testing ion propulsion, some other technologies. So this is one of the quicker, cheaper missions in order to just demonstrate, just test new technologies. And they use that to go up and fly by the asteroid Braille. Then the last one I'm mentioning here is the NEAR spacecraft, Near Earth Asteroid Rendezvous. This is the first time an asteroid was actually orbited. It orbited the asteroid Eros. It went and, although officially it was never supposed to, or never planned to land on the asteroid, it was just an orbiter so they can get an idea of what asteroids are made out of, build the technology on how to orbit a asteroid when it is not a nice round object. But they went ahead and toward the end of its life, they did just get it close enough and then let the gravity take over and dropped it down onto the surface of the asteroid. And it survived that slight impact. In fact, I think it survived about 16 days before they just went ahead and sent a shutdown command. So that was the first soft touchdown on an asteroid, was the Near Earth Asteroid Rendezvous mission. So NASA has plenty of asteroid work going on, again, simply because of its potential, asteroids' potentials for hazard to the Earth. We'll go back here, and we're a little bit more populated part of the sky now. Looks like we have a fresh contrail in the sky, and the sky is definitely getting brighter. The sky meter says brightness is 19.25. So the sky is definitely getting brighter with the moon climbing as it is. I don't know if you can hear the beeping in the background, but that's the alarm that the dome is about to move. If anybody was wondering. That star that it's approaching right now is a magnitude 10.5 star. So that's looks like the asteroid is just a fraction brighter than that. So again, to give you an idea how bright that asteroid is, and as close as it is, you can definitely see, just actually watch it move as it goes by there. Looking ahead of its path, unfortunately, I don't think it's going to pass anything interesting to look at in the background there. This camera is sensitive enough to pick up some globular clusters and a very bright galaxies if they happen to be in the vicinity, but looking ahead, I don't see it passing anything interesting. Not that watching an asteroid fly across the sky is not interesting, but just saying. Thanks, Dennis. Thanks for stopping by. We will see you Saturday. Have a good evening. It looks like our sky is cleared up significantly. So I don't think we will have too much problems with the moonlit clouds. Is anybody out there from the Escambia Amateur Astronomers Association? Just wondering if anybody from over way west of us here is on the line here. And now we are starting to get a lot of haze coming in on the western side there. I don't know if the lack of stars in the imagery is clouds, or we're just in a empty part of the sky. I'm watching the sky meter right now, and it is dropping quickly down to 18.7. Getting a lot of haze up in the sky right now. So just to recap, asteroid is past us. It is climbing above the ecliptic and will not pass below the ecliptic until well outside the orbit of Mars. So as you can see here, spends, looks like about half, maybe a little less than half of its orbit above the ecliptic, and then dips down and spends the rest of the half below the ecliptic. It's got a pretty high inclination there. And we're watching asteroid 7482, otherwise known as 1994 PC1, as it leaves Earth's vicinity after a close flyby today at 15:51. Close relatively, about 5.2 lunar distances away. Now that may have been a meteor. That was pretty quick flash through there. There goes another satellite. As you can see, the moon is starting to impact the sky a little bit more. I think we can hold out for a little bit longer. Take a look, make sure we're matching the sky here. And you can see from the tracker on the chart how quick the telescope mount is moving in order to keep the asteroid in the center of field of view there. So just a reminder, we're watching Asteroid 7482, 1994 PC1, as it leaves Earth's vicinity, heads back out onto its orbit around the Sun. That orbit takes about 572 days, or about a year, a little over a year and a half, to orbit the Sun. Goes outside of Earth's orbit to inside of Earth's orbit, so it ultimately does cross Earth's orbit, and in the future may pose a hazard, but NASA has calculated that it doesn't pose a hazard anytime soon. The asteroid is a good size, 1.1 kilometers. Today it was definitely far enough away that we did not have to worry about it at all, contrary to what we've seen on other YouTube or internet articles about the asteroid. So again, the mount is slewing at a non-sidereal rate. It's designed to match the asteroid's motion. So what we're seeing is the asteroid remaining fairly static in the display, and the stars that it's passing in front of are moving from upper left to lower right as the asteroid crosses the background sky. Just so you know how bright the asteroid is, the stars halfway between the asteroid and the edge of the field of view, one to the left of the asteroid, one to the right, are both in about 11.5 magnitude. So you can see that the asteroid is definitely brighter than that, in the 10.5 range, if I guess right. Earlier we flew right by a magnitude 10.3 star, if I remember right. And it matched the asteroid fairly closely. Just checking with the sky. Not looking too bad where we are. But again, the moon is lighting up what little bit of haze that's up there right now. As you can see, the little yellow dot indicates the pointing angle of the mount, and we are approaching the tree line. It looks like we're going to go ahead and wrap it up on the hour. Got any questions? Go ahead and post them now. So right now we are in a very sparsely populated part of the sky. Barely see a couple of stars in the upper right-hand quadrant. But that's not clouds, that's just a lack of stars. Go ahead and match it up to the chart. And you can see that little triangle of stars in the upper right hand corner. We just barely see those. Those are magnitude 12, 11.7, and 11.5. to Emerald Company Gaming. Yes, skies are nice. Well, we can take a look at the skies. Got a little bit of haze up there. The moon's starting to impact us. But so far it has been okay. You're able to step in there. As you can see, the yellow spot shows the pointing angle of the telescope. So we're right about to hit the tree line here. So we'll be wrapping it up here in another 5 minutes or so. Go back to the camera. Right now we're in a fairly sparse portion of the sky, very few stars, bright enough for the camera to see. If you compare the stars to the bright dot in the center where it's been highlighted, that's the asteroid. And you can see that the stars do slowly crawl across the screen from upper left to lower right. So again, we're looking at asteroid 7482, 1994 PC1, as it leaves Earth's vicinity and heads further on its orbit around the Sun. This is one of the faster objects I've ever observed, simply due to its closeness to the Earth-Moon system here, but 1.2 million miles away doesn't give it a lot of speed, so you sort of have to pay attention to watch the stars move there. So again, as you can see, we are about hit. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Thanks everybody out there for joining in. We're going to go ahead and start shutting down. Go ahead and close the dome. And we're going to go ahead and park the scope. Again, thanks everybody for joining in. There's nothing of significant import that I know of coming up to generate another live stream, but if there is, you can rest assured we'll be there. Dave, hey, how are you doing? You just showed up just in time to watch wrap up. The asteroid is just about to hit the tree line here. Oh, I've already disconnected. So, sorry. Well, I started at 6 again. This is Central Time. You guys way over east. But I can't track through the trees, so there's not a lot I can do there, sir. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Well, unfortunately, the forest that I have to look through is a neighbor's yard, and I don't think they would appreciate me going and cutting down their trees. Once again, guys, gals, thanks for joining.